Hello, this is Bunton with lesson 4 of your visual functional mathematics, and today's topic is rounding. This topic is very important because it is a topic that is applied not only at home but in businesses, in industries, and in statistics. You will learn how to round to the nearest 10, round to the nearest 100, estimate using rounding, and check your answers using rounding. The key words and expressions you need to know are estimate, rounding, nearest, statistics, and also rounding up and rounding down. I'll explain as we progress. Today's lesson is rather short, but very important indeed. Meaning and rules of rounding. Rounding to the nearest 100 means finding the nearest number ending in 00. For example, ending in 100, 600, 900, and so on. There are rules guiding us on rounding, which we have to comply with, mathematical rules. If the last two digits are less than 50, round down to the 100 below. For example, if the last two digits are 48, you round down. If the last two digits are 35, you round down. But if the last two digits are 50 or more, you round up to the nearest 100 above. So if it is 50, you round up. If it is 60, you round up. If it is 51, you round up. If it's 99, obviously, you round up. Now let's look at rounding to the nearest 100. I'll give you an example. Zara has 850 envelopes. How many envelopes does she have to the nearest 100? The last two digits of 850 are 5 and 0. So round up to the 100 above. So Zara has 900 envelopes to the nearest 100. Usually in real life we say she has about 900 envelopes, or she has approximately 900 envelopes. Rounding to the nearest 10. Rounding to the nearest 10 means finding the nearest number ending in 0, just 1 0. For example, the nearest number ending in 10, ending in 60 or 230. If the last digit is less than 5, again, you round down to 10 below. So if the last digit is 4, you round down. If it is 2, you round down. If the last digit is 5 or more, then you round up to the 10 above. So if it is 5, you round up. If it is 6, you round up, and so on. Take a look at the rounding line below, labeled 30, 32, 35, and 45. Note where the 32 is on the left. Example 1. Sam has 30 sandwiches. How many does he have to the nearest 10? The last digit is 2. This is less than 5. So you need to round it down. Sam has 30 sandwiches to the nearest 10. Or you say Sam has about 30 sandwiches to the nearest 10. So you can see this on the number line above. The line at the bottom there is the number line, and it's very easy for us to label them by numbers so that we're able to visualize what we're talking about. Here are some practice questions. I'll read it through, and I'll leave you to work on them to sharpen your skills or your knowledge of rounding. 1. Tom has 734 red pens. How many pens does Tom have to the nearest 10? B. How many pens does Tom have to the nearest 100? Question 2. Alex has 550 printers. How many does he have to the nearest 100? Question 3. Umesh runs 1,500 meters in what is his time to the nearest 100 seconds? What is his time to the nearest 10 seconds? You remember I told you about estimating when you're using rounding. Let's look at this in more detail. Estimation uses rounding. An estimate is a close guess at what an answer will be. You can use rounding to estimate an answer. So in the real world, people use expressions like guesstimate in a humorous way, but basically what it means is that estimate is not accurate, but it gives you a sense, an idea of what the actual accurate figure is you're talking about. For example, Kyle has 32 fairy cakes and 118 cupcakes. Estimate how many cakes Kyle has in total. How do we do that? First, round both numbers to the nearest 10. 32 rounds down to 30 because the 2 is less than 5. 118 rounds up to 120. Do you know why? Yes, because 8 is higher than 5, so you round up. Then add 30 and 120. That is 30 plus 120 is 150. So Kyle has about 100, you note the word about. Kyle has about 150 cakes in total. It's important that you take note of the language that is being used when you're talking about rounding up and estimating. About, nearly, okay? You can check your answers using estimating. You can also use an estimate to check an answer. The estimate should be close to the exact answer. If it isn't, then your answer is probably wrong. Another example. Hyun pays £496 per month in rent. There are 12 months in a year. Hyun calculates that he will need 59,520 for 1 year of rent. Use an estimate to check his answer. Solution to the example. First, find an estimate for the answer. 496 rounds to 500 to the nearest 100, and 12 rounds to 10 to the nearest 10. So 500 times 10 is 5,000. Compare your estimate to Hyun's answer. 59,520 is much bigger than 5,000. So this suggests that Hyun is incorrect. Here are some practice questions. You've got 4. Number 1, estimate the answer to 617 plus 84. Number 2, Kaz is doing some stock taking. She has 98 tins of beans, 45 tins of tomatoes, and 23 tins of spaghetti. Estimate how many tins she has in total. Rachel is shopping. She buys food costing £1.99, £2.99, 99p, 99p, and £3.99. She pays with a £20 note. She gets £10 and 5 pence change. Use an estimate to check if she gets the right change. Vashti needs a total of 55 marks to pass a test. In the first section, she got 34 marks, and in the second section, she got 27 marks. A. Use an estimate to decide if you think she passed or not. B. Vashti calculates that she scored 61 marks. Use your estimate to check her answer. So let's summarize what we've learned from this very short but important topic of rounding. Rounding is estimating to the nearest 10 or 100. The rules of rounding up and rounding down are important. Rounding is used for checking accuracy. Rounding is used in business to estimate reasonable results. The word reasonable is a very important word, and as we progress in our learning, you'll be using that word time and time again. And number 5, rounding is used in data handling methods. We will be doing data handling later on in this course, so you'll get used to it. So that's lesson 4 on rounding. Next week, we'll begin to look at fractions and decimals. Okay, remember that lessons 1, 2, 3, and 4 have dealt with whole numbers. Now, as we move on to decimals and fractions, we'll begin to look at numbers that are less than a whole. But we'll talk more about that next week. Thank you.